Hi, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Wednesday, March 17th, and that makes it St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. You know, we're all a little Irish today, right? I'm Irish every day, but I'm a little extra Irish on St. Patrick's Day. I hope you get to celebrate that today. Thank you for choosing to be here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. There's definitely a lot going on today, so we will get right into it. There is another Ohioan who has been charged related to the January 6th attacks against the Capitol in Washington, D.C., the day that the Electoral College votes were certified by Congress for now President Joe Biden. That person is Clifford Mackrell of Wellington, Ohio, and the FBI says, according to court documents, that he's been charged with several crimes. Now, the exact names of the crimes he's been charged with are kind of long, kind of wordy, so I'll summarize what those charges are for you here. Forcibly interfering with certain officers or employees, that's one charge that he faces. Another charge that he faces is knowingly entering a place where he's not supposed to be and interfering with the business that is supposed to take place there. Also, obstruction of law enforcement during civil disorder and violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. Now, according to the FBI, various footage and photos show during the assault Mackrell on the front lines of police barricades, pushing against officers trying to remove those barricades. Also, officials say that he was one of many insurrectionists who got violent with law enforcement. He is accused of grabbing an officer's gas mask under the officer's face shield. Now, the reason this is particularly important is because just prior to that grabbing of the mask, allegedly, someone of the crowd had sprayed bear spray towards the officers. So it appears that this person was trying to expose the officer to the bear spray by grabbing the gas masks. Now, the reason that agents were able to identify Mackrell, according to them, is that a tipster told him that they recognized him in a photo and that he graduated from Wellington High School in 2018. The officers then submitted a search warrant to Facebook, and the FBI was then able to identify Mackrell as the man in question. So his first court appearances today in this case will be prosecuted out of Washington, D.C. Acton native LeBron James is speaking out, sharing sympathy for the Asian community after an Atlanta shooting, multiple Atlanta shootings last night where 8 people died. Now, the person who is the suspected shooter is 21-year-old Robert Long, and LeBron James called him a coward, expletive young man, calling the killings senseless and tragic. Again, 8 people died, and this is a major concern because there has been a rising concern about nationwide violence against Asian Americans during the coronavirus pandemic. It's something that we have seen rise is violence against Asian Americans. Authorities do believe that it's possible that this suspect was on his way to Florida in order to carry out more shootings. We will keep you apprised of that situation as it goes on. Now, here in Ohio, there will be an open Senate seat in the 2022 election because Senator Rob Portman is not running for re-election. He previously announced that, and a new poll shows that Dr. Amy Acton has the highest favorability of any Democrat for that potential Senate seat. Now, Dr. Acton hasn't officially announced that she will be running, but she did officially announce that she was stepping down from her role at the Columbus Foundation to explore a potential Senate run. And on Wednesday, Public Policy Polling released a new poll. Now, it was commissioned by the Acton supporting group Action 314 Action Fund, and this poll shows that Acton has the highest favorability among potential Democratic candidates, with 64% of Ohio Democratic primary voters viewing her favorably. That's a 24% lead in favorability over Ohio Representative Tim Ryan, also a Democrat, also potentially linked to a U.S. Senate seat run in 2022. The poll shows that if Dr. Acton and Tim Ryan were the only candidates in Ohio's Democratic primary for that U.S. Senate seat, Dr. Acton will hold a 5% lead over Representative Ryan, and that is outside the margin of error, which is 3.5%. And if you're wondering why Dr. Acton might have such favorable numbers in this poll, the poll shows that 79% of Ohio Democratic primary voters approve of how the state handled the COVID-19 pandemic, how the state, handled that earlier in the beginning when Dr. Acton was the director of the Ohio Department of Health. And 86% of those people polled have favorable opinions of scientists and public health professionals. Now, today is the first official day of the mass vaccination site at the Wolstein Center at Cleveland State University operating. And on our live blog, we've got comments from people who have been there throughout the day, and people say it continues to run well. There was sort of a soft launch yesterday where certain people got access to the site, and today they were hoping to see 1,500 people. Now, full capacity is 6,000 people a day. They're hoping to get up to that number by next week. Well, as of today, people are saying things continue to run well. FEMA, which is running the site in conjunction with Ohio officials and the Ohio National Guard, shared a look at how things are going, and we've seen people thanking the Ohio National Guard, and it seems to be a good experience for the people who are getting that vaccine there, at least so far today. Now, if you need to get your vaccine appointment, if you are eligible, you need to go to gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov. Now, once you're there, you can put in your zip code, and what will come up are providers in your area. So if you're in the area where the Wolstein Center is, that will come up for you. If you're somewhere else, other options will come up for you. Now, from there, you can contact those providers directly, go to their websites, check their appointment systems, and see if you can get an appointment. I know it is tough. We are all trying to do this together. I personally am trying to get my parents' vaccination appointments right now, and it's a challenge. So be vigilant. Again, gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov to see what providers are in your area so you can check for vaccine appointment availability. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers across the globe and across the U.S. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. Globally, the total number of cases is now at 120,971,785. The total number of deaths is now at 2,674,965. Now, here in the U.S., we have 4% of the global population, but the most cases and the most deaths. We have 24.4% of the COVID-19 cases. That's down a tenth of the percentage point from yesterday, and 20.1% of the global deaths. That number staying steady. In the U.S., we've seen now 29,562,060 COVID-19 cases and a total of 537,417 COVID-19 deaths. We now have the latest numbers from the Ohio Department of Health. In the last 24 hours, we've seen 1,458 new COVID-19 cases diagnosed, and we do have new death data now. The total number of deaths we learned last Friday, we are up 121. 121 more people have died since we last had the numbers reported on Friday, March 12th. Let me rephrase that because that's not exactly accurate the way I said that. 121 more COVID-19 deaths have been reported and confirmed via death certificates since the latest numbers were released on Friday, March 12th. That total number now, 17,992, because remember, there was a lag in reporting. There will be a lag in reporting now because we are waiting for confirmed death certificate results. Now, in the last 24 hours, there have been 81 new hospitalizations related to COVID. All of these numbers are down, by the way. Right now, there are 856 people in the hospital with COVID. 229 of those people are being treated in an intensive care unit, and we've seen 8 new ICU admissions in the last 24 hours. Taking a look at the vaccination process, right now about 12.4% of Ohio's population have completed the vaccination process. That's almost 2.5 million people and about 28,000 more people in the last day who have completed the process. In terms of the people who have started it, we're at about 21.4% of our population. That's almost 2.5 million people and about 65,000 people in the last day. Now, again, as that mass vaccination site at the Wolstein Center continues at Cleveland State, we'll see that number increase quite a bit. And I did speak with someone from Governor DeWine's office yesterday, and he told me that regional large-scale vaccination sites are expected to open in the next 2 weeks. Hopefully, of course, that's dependent on the vaccine supply, but based on what they expect to come, that's what they expect to happen. Now, today, many Americans got their third stimulus check. The federal government has says that $242 billion has been sent out via direct payments. That's about 90 million payments via direct deposit. And the Treasury Department has mailed out about 150,000 checks. That's about another $442 million. This first batch, that big chunk, was for people who used direct deposit information for their 2019 and 2020 tax returns. Here's an update out of Ohio. Ohio's Attorney General is suing the Biden administration over the stimulus package. In a release, Attorney General Joe said that he's filed a motion for a preliminary injunction against part of the American Rescue Act. So just part of it, not all of it. So if you're immediately wondering, what about my check? What about my individual stimulus check? This is not about that. Here's what it's about. Ohio is expected to receive $5.5 billion as part of the American Rescue Plan relief package. Well, Yost says that there's a tax mandate in there that forces Ohio and every other state to accept that money with significant conditions. So he's saying there are strings attached to Ohio accepting that $5.5 billion. He says that buried in the law, it's been signed into law, is the fact that funds cannot be used directly or indirectly to offset tax cuts or credits. Now, Yost says this presents states with the choice to either accept the stimulus money or keep the authority to reduce their taxes. He says this: slipping last-minute conditions into a plan meant to help people that instead handcuffs Ohio is why people don't trust government, and it almost always leads to constitutional mischief. We will certainly keep you updated on what happens with that. In the meantime, President Biden is expected to visit Columbus on Tuesday to promote health care and the American Rescue Plan. The White House has not released specific information about where he'll be in Columbus. Of course, when we get that information, we will share it with you. And back to today, with it being St. Patrick's Day. Of course, the St. Patrick's Day parade not happening this year. Again, lots of things a little bit curtailed because of COVID-19 restrictions. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but we are not there yet. So what we do have for you on WKYC.com is a guide to where you can get your St. Patrick's Day food fix with takeout. Now, in downtown Cleveland, you can hit up Slyman's Tavern. This is a great day to get one of their famous corned beef sandwiches. They'll be open for takeout and pickup only throughout the afternoon. And then on the east side, you can check out Corky and Lenny's. You can get some of their delicious deli food. They've got corned beef as well. They'll be open till 7 p.m. And Public House on the west side. They've got your corned beef, your Reubens, your Irish egg rolls, and they've got grilled cheese for the kids. Got to have those options for the kiddos. Now, this is in Cam's Corner, so you can call ahead for pickup. That's through 2:30 a.m., so there's a good late night option for you. And one more story before we let you go here. We have the top 10 puppy names so far for 2021. A lot of people have been getting pandemic pets. So Trupanion, which is a pet insurance company, released this survey of the top 10 pet names so far for puppies for 2021. Number 1, Luna. Number 10, Max. And there's a bunch of cute names in the middle there. Now, here's a fun fact. There are 3 names on this list that haven't previously been on the top 10 list, and those names are Miley, Bailey, and Coco. One of my dear friends just got a puppy, and she named her little pup Luca, which I think is a very beautiful puppy name. Of course, Harry Winston, far from a puppy, but he is the resident puggle in this house, and if you hear him right now, that's him tap dancing around because I need to get his nails trimmed. And I think that means that it's time to end this edition of 3 News Now for Wednesday, March 17th on your St. Patrick's Day. I will be out on Thursday and Friday, so I won't see you on Thursday and Friday. I will see you up next on What's New at 5 p.m. with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment. I'll have a new podcast out for you Saturday, so I'll catch you on the morning show on Saturday with that, which is also puppy related. And then I'll be back here Monday with more 3 News Now. Between now and then, everyone stay safe, be well, have a great rest of your week, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you back here on Monday. I'm Stephanie Haney.